No one, especially the president, is above the law.
No one is above the law.
No one is above the law.
No one is above the law.
Nobody is above the law.
No one is above the law.
Nobody is above the law.
No one 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 is above the law.
Oh, son of a bitch.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. What a timeline we live in. What a time to be alive. Donald Trump posting that from his Truth Social account. And by the way, that's not the end of it. Oh no, we have another clip from Donald Trump of him talking about Obama and Biden and Jake Clapper and Comey and Brennan. Oh boy, he's got a lot of people that he wants to put away in prison, and it's going to be very interesting to see what he does. This may be one of my favorite pictures. This is just absolutely hilarious. There's J.D. Vance. The President of the United States posted this. He posted this. The President of the United States posted this. What an unbelievably incredible time we live in. Oh, man. Well, so I've watched a couple different legal experts. One of my favorite is Andrew Branca. I think Andrew Branca does a phenomenal job breaking this stuff down. For me, Andrew Branca is the opposite of Legal Eagle. So, whereas Legal Eagle is a fake, manufactured, far-left, radical left activist, Andrew Branca is pretty down-to-earth. Now, it doesn't mean I agree with everything that he says. It's not like I'm, 100% simping for the guy. But the fact of the matter is that when it comes to breaking down legal issues, I trust him a million times more than I do Legal Eagle. And Andrew Branca had some interesting things to say as it relates to the situation. And I watched it on X. You can go to Andrew Branca's X account, and it still should be up there. I don't know how you'd access it, but because technologically I am I am pretty primitive. So he was talking about the statute of limitations, because some people are saying that, and apparently there is no statute of limitations on treason. And treason does not cover presidential immunity. These are not actions that were taken while he was president for the purpose of his job. This was him basically trying to prevent Trump from seamlessly taking office and doing everything that he could to hinder Trump. And the extent of that is absolutely ridiculous. The amount of shit that Obama and Biden and all these people did, they should go to jail. Absolutely. I would support that 100%. And I would support him arresting Democrat mayors and governors who also do the same in obstructing justice and breaking the law, because, as they said, no one is above the law, right? No one is above the law. Well, if no one is above the law, you are included in no one, right? You're included in no one. So when you go out there and you think, oh, this is going to sound good, no one is above the law, what you really mean is, if it means we can get Trump, we'll say anything. Because you don't believe anyone is above the law. You believe that people that you can use in the moment you can use them are above the law. Anyway, let's pop over to Donald Trump, our leader, who I did say I still support him. I said I would criticize him and make fun of him until he released the Epstein files. And the thing is, he's releasing the grand jury testimony, but we'll wait and see what we get.
DOJ target as part of their investigation? What specific figures in the Obama administration?
Well, based on what I read, and I read pretty much what you read, it would be President Obama. He started it. And Biden was there with him, and Comey was there, and Clapper, the whole group was there. Brennan, they were all there in a room. Right here, this was the room. This is much more beautiful than it was then, but that's okay. I have nice pictures up that came out of the vaults.
I mean, I love Trump, but he's talking about these people that have, like, committed these treasonous crimes. I mean, just terrible crimes. And he's like, and the room looks so much better. It looks so much better under Trump. Trump made the room look great. Oh, beautiful gold trim. Gold, you know, it's one of the most beautiful elements. It's one of the most beautiful minerals. It's one of the most beautiful colors. And I found these old paintings in the vault. They were in the vault for 100 years. No one ever thought to touch them. No one ever thought to bring them out. Maybe they were afraid of, you know, of America and America's greatness. But I'm not afraid of America's greatness. I love America's greatness. We're going to put them on the wall. We're going to make America great again. The golden age. We're bringing it back.
They were in there for 100 years. This is much more beautiful. We have the Declaration of Independence now in the room, which wasn't here. I guess people didn't feel too good about putting it here, but I do. But you know what? If you look at those papers, they have them stone cold, and it was President Obama. It wasn't lots of people all over the place. It was them too. But the leader of the gang was President Obama.
You like that? It wasn't people all over the. I mean, it was them too, but it was Obama.
Barack Hussein Obama. Have you heard of him? And except for the fact that he gets shielded by the press for his entire life, that's the one they look. He's guilty. It's not a question. You know, I like to say, let's give it time. It's there. He's guilty. This was treason. This was every word you can think of. They tried to steal the election. They tried to obfuscate the election. They did things that nobody's ever even imagined, even in other countries. You've seen some pretty rough countries. This man has seen some pretty rough countries, but you've never seen anything like it.
You've seen some rough countries, but not as rough as Barack Hussein Obama. One of the worst presidents. I'd have to think about that. Who's worse, Obama or Biden? Both terrible, but I'm the best president. No one's a better president than me. If I were Trump, yeah, I would be justifiably livid. Like, Trump has done more. I know that people want to shit on him right now, but understand, Trump has done more to expose the media and the deep state apparatus and the corruption in this country than anyone in my lifetime. It's not even close. Growing up, you know, you would put your faith in the Republican Party because the Democrats were so bad. But there came a time where you realized that, okay, the Republicans are no better. You elect a Republican and they do nothing. They do absolutely nothing to advance the conservative cause. And even when I was much younger, I'm like, how does this happen? You elect somebody, you give them a mandate to do something, and then they don't do it. It always seemed incredibly bizarre to me why you would get in there and not do it. It's, I have criticisms of a lot of people as it relates to that. And the thing is, our country is at a place right now where these Democrats have avoided accountability and responsibility for so long that actually punishing them for their bad behavior, their criminal acts, now to them seems like authoritarianism. They think it's fascism when you hold them accountable for the things that they've done that are illegal and wrong. And so I think you need to go 10 times harsher than you otherwise would in order to send a message.
From your perspective, who should the DOJ target as part of their investigation? What specific figures in the Obama administration?
Well, based on what I read, and I read pretty much what you read, it would be President Obama. He started it.
Yeah, that's crazy. I'm gonna look for a clip from Tulsi Gabbard, because she had some interesting things to say about this. But the fact of the matter is this: if they're going to go after Obama and Biden and all of them, I think that in itself would do a lot. I mean, a lot to sort of downplay Epstein a little bit. I want Epstein. Understand? I want that whole file to be released. Whether they're Republicans, whether they're Democrats, whether they're Hollywood stars, whether they're foreign leaders, whether it's Mossad, I don't care. I want the files released. And I think that is ultimately the way that you're going to deal with that situation. And to be honest, it could be that it's far more boring than we're imagining. It's sort of like a movie that you've built up in your head over years and years and years and years and years. It could be more boring. Trump could be right. Trump's like, yeah, it's salacious, but it's boring. He could be right. But we need to make that determination for ourselves. And all the information needs to come out about everyone that was there. And we need the client list. We need to know what the bank records said. We need to know where the money was going, who was paying this guy off. It definitely wasn't for his tax services.
Election, the intelligence community agreed that there was no intelligence that reflected that Russia was trying to hack the election in favor of either candidate. The evidence showed, the intelligence showed that, again, Russia did not have either the intent nor the capability to be able to impact the outcome of the United States election. So it was very striking when we look back again at the documents that I declassified and released that shows there was a shift in early December, the first week of December. Again, another document was produced by the intelligence community, a president's daily brief that was consistent with every other assessment that was done previously leading up to the election. Russia did not, this is after the election now, did not attempt to affect the outcome of the American election. That was never published. Hours before it would have gone into President Obama's President's Daily Brief, it was pulled by a senior level intelligence official saying that they had to pull it because they had received new guidance. The very next day, this meeting was called, a National Security Council meeting, bringing together all of the senior leaders of President Obama's cabinet, and the topic that was put forward was a sensitive matter. The tasks that came out of that meeting was coming from President Obama directing the intelligence community, then Obama's ODNI director Clapper, to produce a document, to produce an intelligence assessment that detailed not if, but how Moscow affected the outcome of the election that had already occurred, electing Donald Trump to the presidency. This document that they published in January of 2017 was the foundational groundwork that they continued to reference over and over and over again to enact this years-long coup against President.
Damn. Yeah, that's nuts. and they have the documents, and they're pushing them to Pam Bondi, who will probably shit the bed on it. But if Pam Blondie, if she actually goes through with it, that would be incredible. But here's what you have to be prepared for. This is not as easy as it seems. It really isn't. And I know you're saying, well, how does this seem easy? Well, because, I mean, the evidence is there. I mean, they just go and arrest him. There are people working in the government right now that are diehard Obama supporters. There are people that are judges that are diehard Obama supporters. There are rogue activist leftist judges in this country that are there to protect Obama and his cronies and the Democrats. That's a reality that you're going to have to face. So, if you want to go down this path, what Trump is ultimately going to have to do is he's going to have to decide what he wants to do. If he goes down this path, he will likely have to arrest judges. He will likely have to arrest staffers in the government. He will likely have to arrest people in the media. This is not going to be just a simple thing that you can just do. No, it's going to have to be all or nothing, because there are going to be so many people trying to meddle with this, tamper with information, put out information that is dishonest in order to discredit the whole thing. They had better get their ducks in a row, and it better not just be Trump talking shit. Because if they actually want to go forward with this, it's going to take a monumental effort, given the type of people that we're dealing with and how underhanded they are. I'm just saying, if Trump wants to talk shit, whatever, you know. I think that if he talks shit on this, if nothing happens, if Obama is not arrested and prosecuted, if this isn't brought to a grand jury and then moved, ahead to prosecute Obama, I think it's going to make Trump look really bad. I think it's going to make him look terrible. And I think the media is going to run with that. And I think that Trump is going to ultimately kill his own legacy if he doesn't follow through. If he doesn't follow through, if Barack Obama, okay, let me just put it like this. If within the next couple weeks, there's movement that, they're going ahead with this, and they arrest Hillary Clinton, they arrest Brennan, they arrest Obama, they arrest Biden, they arrest a bunch of different media people that were complicit in this, and, they probably have the text messages and emails and all that stuff at this point. I'm sure they do. If they were to go ahead and do that and do a precision strike, sort of like Michael Corleone in The Godfather, where he takes out like the five people that would oppose him. Like, if they do a coordinated strike and hit all of these serpent heads at once, I think Trump's poll numbers would go up more than even he could imagine. Because Trump could come out and say, for too long, these people who are rich and powerful have been able to avoid the consequences of their actions. They've been able to be above the law. Well, under my administration, no one is above the law. And so we're going to start holding these Democrats accountable for the first time potentially in their lives for their criminal wrongdoing and their treasonous actions to this country. If he actually did that and if they had gotten arrested and then he does a speech like that these people are traitors to the country, and that we're going to be releasing all of the pertinent information and data, if he does that, I think his poll numbers skyrocket. I think that the Epstein thing becomes a topic of conversation still, of course, but I think it gets downplayed. I think that would be far more massive, and it'd be interesting to see where they would go from there. But ladies and gentlemen, Ladies and gentlemen, Abunga is on the run. Let's see if he flees. Wouldn't that be interesting if he went back to his homeland of Kenya? By the way, one of the reasons why I like Andrew Branca as much as I do is because he was talking about the Obama birth certificate and how it was a complete and total fake. It was a certificate of live birth. It wasn't a birth certificate. It's totally bullshit. Obama was not an American citizen. I don't believe that for a single second. I think that was, and that's what Andrew Branca was talking about. Wouldn't it be interesting if, in order to get out of treason charges, because in order to be charged with treason, you have to have an allegiance to the United States. Well, if Barack Obama was never a citizen, well, then he didn't have an allegiance to the United States. So Andrew Branca was posing like, well, if they went that route, if in order to get out of treason charges, Obama's like, well, my birth certificate is fake. I'm not actually a U.S. citizen. So you can't charge me with treason. That would that would be interesting. Would that not be the most interesting of all the different options? That's why I like Andrew Branca. And he didn't put it out there like it was like the most likely thing to happen. He was just talking about it from like a legal defense theory. Like if Obama was guilty as hell, how would he try to get Obama out of it? And he brought up that thing, and I didn't even think about that. I didn't even consider that Obama could be like, yeah, my birth certificate is fake. We can't produce it. I'm from Kenya. I was born in Kenya. I wasn't born in America. I'm not an American citizen. Like his brother Malik Obama. But yeah, no, he could get out of treason. I think that's the way that it works according to Andrew Branca. But that was an interesting thought experiment at the very least. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, on this amazing picture of Trump and J.D. Vance trying to arrest Barack Hussein Obama. On that note, I will bid you guys a good day. And yeah, I'll see you next time.